So what about the woolly bumblebee? What can I say about woolly bumblebee? Because this is a bit of a fucking mess, I've got to say, woolly. I know woolly back from, no, in a very loose sense of the word, know of woolly bumblebee back since, I don't know, I suppose the Atheism Plus, Free Thought blogs, shit, and then the forum that resulted from that in opposition to Free Thought blogs, the Slime Pit, although I didn't used to post on that, I used to read on that. She was a figure with regard to all of that, and in opposition to Free Thought blogs, and then started to do more and more material on YouTube. And she had her certain perspectives, and she always had a certain sort of free-minded approach to things and wouldn't necessarily toe the party line, which I respected, and I have no problem with people altering their position. It is healthy for people to be able to alter their positions, but I always get a little bit concerned when somebody who's over the age of about 14 or 15 utterly alters their position and just seemingly goes totally from one side to totally the other. I've seen it on YouTube before. It happened with a guy called Rithrandir who changed his online name to Unseen Perfidy before exploding in a kind of sex scandal. And he went from being a really obnoxious cunt right-winger to being an equally really obnoxious cunt left-winger. The only thing that was sort of common was his obnoxious cuntishness throughout all of that. His politics just changed absolutely diametrically. And another example would, of course, be Brett Keane, who prior to YouTube starting was, I believe, quite a committed fundamentalist Christian, and then suddenly found atheism, and he was like one of the original YouTube atheists and droned on and on and on about why Christianity was such a load of shit, and made argument after argument after argument about why Christianity was such a load of shit and why Christians were such a load of wankers, and then all of a sudden decided actually that's not true and Christianity is true and I'm going to be a Christian again, and this is why Christianity is the best thing since sliced bread and why atheists are such a load of absolute wankers. And I absolutely accept people's right to do that, but it's hard for me to take people seriously when they do that. And I felt the same about the woolly bumblebee, that seemingly she's kind of switched position, and I accept her right to do that, but it makes her the kind of person that I particularly wouldn't look to engage with, because it seems as if their foundations are built upon sand. But then when I'm watching this video here, and I'm tying this video into responses that she's made to Bearing and Sargon of Akkad, people that she'd sided with, and particularly a critical video she'd made against Sargon of Akkad a few months ago. Well, I'd watched the video of Sargon's that she'd responded to, and I'd found fault with it. And I'm watching Woolly Bumblebee's video, and she's picking on some of the things that I'd picked up, but also picking on lots of other things, the most petty, ridiculous, stupid non-points that didn't make any sense, as if simply she wanted to find fault with every single word that Sargon had said throughout the entire video. And I thought, this is tribalism here. She's saying it isn't, and she's saying she's made a video that's kind of anti-tribalistic, and look how free I am, is that I'll have a go at anybody, but actually she's taking all the bad things that you would take from that tribalistic approach and now just aiming it at a different argument, but it's still the same bad things. And I feel as if her change of heart isn't a genuine change of heart. She's just found a new group of friends. And she's apologised to Christy Winters for being so mean to her. Apologised to Steve Shives, apparently, for being so mean to him. And what concerns me is that she says in the video that actually all these things, right, all these things that she's been saying about the wage gap and patriarchy theory and all these things, actually she's not had a change of heart. Actually, she knew all along. She's trained in social studies, right, in social care, and that she learnt about all these things and she understood them. And that effectively all the arguments she's been making all these time, she was just doing for the social cachet. And yet she never believed what she was saying, effectively. This is what I'm getting from this hangout, is that she's saying she never believed what she's saying. But now we can trust her. Now this is the real Woolly Bumblebee. Well, I've got to say, Woolly, maybe it is. And if it is, great. But the hardest thing to earn on YouTube is not an audience, It's a reputation, and it's a reputation for being honest and for being trustworthy, because there are so many shysters out there, so many people who are just full of bullshit and deception. That is the hardest thing to earn, and that is the easiest thing to lose. And when you tell me that the arguments that you've been making for the last few years, your heart wasn't in them, you felt that the arguments that you were trotting out, of your own volition, nobody was making you do it, were wrong, they were misguided, they were miscentered, and you didn't really believe them, I'm just saying to myself, how do I know? How can I trust you that this is the real you, that what you're saying now your heart is actually in, and you're not just doing the same thing now that you said that you've been doing for the last few years? You know yourself what you actually believe. I don't. So effectively, I don't make anybody persona non grata, and I'm not going to do that now. But I don't see you as a person worthy to discuss things with or to argue with. If I don't even know that what you say is what you actually believe. Hell, at least with the likes of Christy Winters, I'm pretty convinced that what she says she actually fucking believes. But I can't even say that about the Woolly Bumblebee now. And that's a terrible thing to lose. To lose the trust of people on YouTube is something that it's almost impossible to get back again. I think that's all that I wanted to say with regard to that. Okay, that'll do. Thank you for watching. Bye.